Welcome to the Gospel Road. Hope all is well with you today. Kind of had something in my mind and I lost it. I saw something on social media. It was a very good statement. We all run into that, don't we? We read something, you're like, I got to remember that. And then when you need to, it just kind of goes away. You just kind of forget where it was, where you saw it. I need to be better at that. I mean, and we all have things that we need to be better at. And that's part of kind of how we pull some of this together. I was actually reading another one, something I shared on my Twitter, and it was talking about taking your YouTube page, if you're recording vlogs or podcasts, and using that of how to really share that and build your following. But I did see this. It says happiness, love, wealth, success are not goals. They are byproducts of your goals, which I thought was really good. Hard work, dreams, dedication, success. You know, we also have to remember that we are the ones that get in our own way. See, I saw this one. It says, obstacles cannot stop you, problems cannot stop you, and most of all, other people cannot stop you. The only one who stops you is yourself. And that is so true, because I've stopped myself with many things many times. Many of you that have been following this podcast, I kind of go and then I stop and then I go. And a lot of it, life gets in the way. I do well and then I kind of fail. Kind of lose not that I lose the drive, because I don't lose the drive. I want to do it, but you lose your priorities, switch your priorities, change them, because something kind of gets in there to pause it. And it could be work, it could be anything, and then rather than trying to readjust how you're doing things to continue to do what you're doing, you just kind of fall to the wayside. And then you sit there and go, man, I need to get that going again, or I need to do this. And it's finding that time to get it done. You end up procrastinating. Which I've done more often than I want to admit, count. I know now I'm kind of doing better. And then I've created my own little workspace again, which I haven't had for a long time. So I'm able to kind of get that so I can continue and keep it going. But then again, life still happens and things get in the way. I mean, I know as of right now, I've got to get another. In fact, people have been asking me when I'm doing another Facebook Live trivia. I'm going to get one. I got to get it, put it together. But sometimes you just feel overwhelmed, exhausted. I know that happens to me more than I care to admit. And then you've got to figure out what you're going to do to recharge. How do you recharge yourself to keep yourself inspired, to keep yourself motivated, to keep yourself encouraged, to continue, to keep moving? I know I keep hearing from people around here that they're just wishing all this would be over. They want everything to get back to the way it was. Restaurants open 100%. I mean, just life back to normal, regular, what we've seen. I don't know that we're going to see that. At least not immediately. Because you have people that are very fearful of what's going to happen. They're not comfortable being around others. So they're keeping themselves sheltered and away from people. But at some point, you've got to be able to get out of that shell to move forward and to live life, not just keep yourself shut away. It's a balance to figure out, and not an easy balance to figure out either. In fact, I was even looking around my room and need to move some things around, had some ideas. Just got to figure out how I'm going to do it, pull it off, get it done. Change can be good. Be careful with the change because it can be bad too when you allow it to get in your way. We're going to look at Hebrews 11 today. Remember to read it when we're done. But it says, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, and the conviction of things not seen. For by it the people of old received their commendation. By faith we understand that the universe was created by the word of God, so that what is seen was not made out of things that are visible. By faith Abel offered to God a more acceptable sacrifice than Cain, through which he was commended as righteous, God commending him by accepting his gifts. Although through his faith he died, he still speaks. By faith Enoch was taken up so that he should not see death. And he was not found, because God had taken him. Now, before he was taken, he was commended as having pleased God. And without faith, it is impossible to please him. For whoever would draw near to God must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who seek him. By faith, Noah, being warned by God concerning events as yet unseen, in reverent fear, constructed an ark for the saving of his household. By this he condemned the world and became an heir of the righteousness that comes by faith. By faith Abraham obeyed when he called to go out, that he was to receive an inheritance, and he went out not knowing where he was going. By faith he went to live in the promised land as in a foreign land, living in tents with Isaac and Jacob, heirs with him of the same promise. For he was looking forward to the city that has foundations, whose designer and builder is God. By faith Sarah herself received power to conceive, even when she was past the age, since she considered him faithful who had promised. Therefore, from one man, and him as good as dead, was born descendants of many as the stars of heaven, and as many as the innumerable grains of sand by the seashore. These all died in faith, not having received the things promised, but having seen them and greeted them from afar, and having acknowledged that they were strangers in and exiles on the earth. For people who speak thus make it clear that they are seeking a homeland. If they had been thinking of that land from which they had gone out, they would have had an opportunity to return. But as it is, they desire a better country, that is a heavenly one. Therefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared for them a city. By faith Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promises was in the act of offering up his only son, of whom it was said, "Through Isaac shall your offspring be named." He considered that God was able even to raise him from the dead, from which, figuratively speaking, he did receive him back. By faith Isaac invoked future blessings on Jacob and Esau. By faith Jacob, when dying, blessed each of his sons of Joseph, bowing in worship over the head of his staff. By faith Joseph, at the end of his life, made mention of the exodus of the Israelites and gave direction concerning his bones. By faith Moses, when he was born, was hidden for 3 months by his parents, because they saw that the child was beautiful, and they were not afraid of the king's edict. By faith, Moses, when he was grown up, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to be mistreated with the people of God than to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. He considered the reproach of Christ greater wealth than the treasures of Egypt, for he was looking to the reward. By faith he left Egypt, not being afraid of the anger of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is visible. By faith he kept the Passover and sprinkled the blood, so that the destroyer of the firstborn might not touch them. By faith the people crossed the Red Sea as on dry land, but the Egyptians, when they had attempted to do the same, were drowned. By faith the walls of Jericho fell down after they had been encircled for 7 days. By faith Rahab the prostitute did not perish with those who were disobedient, but she had given a friendly welcome to the spies. And what more shall I say? For time would fail me to tell of Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, David and Samuel and the prophets, who through faith conquered kingdoms, enforced justice, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, quenched the power of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, were made strong out of weakness, became mighty in war, put foreign armies to flight. Women received back their dead by resurrection. Some were tortured, refusing to accept release, so that they might raise again to be better, a better life. Others suffered mocking and flogging and even chains and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were sawn in two, they were killed with the sword, they went about in skins of sheep and goats, destitute, afflicted, and mistreated, of whom the world was not worthy, wandering about in deserts and mountains, and in dens and caves of the earth. And all these, though commended through their faith, did not receive what was promised, since God had provided something better for us, that apart from us, they should not be made perfect. Rise again to a better life. Keep moving forward. Fail, get back up. Perseverance. Where is that faith that you're using for you? What are you willing to do? What are you willing to go through to complete your goal, to get to the outcome, to get to the next level? Again, I use these, I read through the Bible to show that the ideas of what you can do to be that better person, to be better at what you do, to be better at work, to be better at home, to be better for you, to be better for friends and family. What are you willing to do? I read something and it says that the person with success is no different than the person with failure. The only difference is they do not give up. They keep moving forward. Fall 6 times, get up 7. I mean, that number's changed depending on who made the post. Fall 7 times, get up 8. Fall 9 times, get up 10. You just keep getting up. You have that faith, you have that hope. And the thing is, that goal that you're aiming for, these are things that you have the idea, but it's not seen. It's not always tangible to touch right in front of you, because it's a journey to get to where you're going to be able to get that done and get it taken care of, to be who you want to be, to do what you want to do. Some things can be tangible to where you can see. Now, not always can you touch it. It's like going to college. You're going to finish that. You know at the end you're going to have a diploma. You're not able to touch it until then. You see other diplomas, so it's the idea. You know what you are going to do. You have an idea of what you want done. You need to apply that idea. Me making these podcasts, I have the idea, but until I hit record or I start talking. It's just an idea. Is it always going to be an idea, or are you going to apply it and start doing something? We've talked over the last few episodes of action. Faith without works is death. So you have the faith, the assurance of things hoped for, of that idea, those things that you're not able to see, but you have the idea of it. But then now what is your action plan to do that? You know you want that job. You have faith you're going to get that job because you believe you're able to do it. Now action is applying for it. Action is getting that resume put together to try for that. See, we go through all these stories about the ideas of what they have. They didn't always make it to where it was, but they were going through that journey and continuing that journey and not letting it stop, no matter what. Again, there's failures, you read about them. I have failures. We all have failures, but what is going to define you, the failure? Or are you going to just keep pushing forward to be that better person, to be the best that you can be, to help others around you be the best that they can be? Really being that person that motivates and inspires and encourages. Many times that I find when you are inspiring and motivating and encouraging others, it also creates that for you. That becomes the inspiration, the motivation, the encouragement for you to do what it is that you want to do, what you need to do. No one ever said it was going to be easy. And I've said many times, it's a journey. Life is a journey. And you have to just keep going, keep moving forward, keep pressing on. It is going to hurt some days. It's going to be hard some days, but you keep going. It will be frustrating some days, but you keep going. You know what it is that you want to do. You know what it is that you want to be. Sometimes it could change as you're going through that journey, but that's okay. You'll reach a goal, you'll then set another goal. Learning every day. Successful people learn every day. Always gaining knowledge. I've talked about that. To gain the knowledge, to gain the wisdom, to gain the understanding, you have to always be willing to learn. Always, always, always be willing to learn. Read it for today. Hebrews 11. What does it say to you? How does it point you in your direction to get to where it is that you want to be? Thank you for listening to The Gospel Road. Have a great day. God bless.